Don't go without receiving Jesus. Don't go without receiving Jesus. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have an everlasting life.
So this is our pain is roll-on. Inoshanda zvinhu zvakawanda. Iyi inongodiwa mumba. Inoshanda kurapa musoro, inoshanda kurapa makumbo anorwadza, majoints, mamuscles, mabayo, pese panorwadza period pain. Iyo iyi inoshanda zvakanyanyisa. Hauchamwimwi mapirisi, hatichangoiti basa rekudungira mapirisi muswere wese. Some of the pain haidi kuti timwe, handiti mishonga inotiwandira mukati umu. This one chinotisolvera all those problems. Unonyatsonzwa kuti mamuscles arelaxa, makumbo anga ari stiff arelaxa, period pain yaenda.
The succession battle is continuing to rage on in ZAOGA, and this is not looking good. It's not looking good in the sense that this is what happened at a Tuesday prayer 2 weeks ago in Amphik, Harare. And I want you to pay close attention to the gestures that happened, and I'm going to explain later the video.
Hoyo, ndazo ita an afterthought. Ndichiitira video right. Ndataurawo nehama dza Dr. Ndataura nehama dza Mai Nyashaguti. Vakaradzwa kusafara nenyaya iyi. Actually, I saw a message from one of the siblings who is not happy with the way how things turned out to be ipapa. Saka nyaya iyi inyaya yakaoma, inyaya yakakosha, inoda kubatwa zvine ungwaru. But anyway, dzaitipinde muvideo yandanyatsopa a full explanation. Pandada kuti ndingokuudzai kuti hama kunobva Mai Nyashaguti hadzisi kufara nezviri kuitika, and they expressed their dissatisfaction. Saka ngatipinde muvideo tinyatsotsanangura kuti zviri kufamba sei.
But some of us, you feel like, I want to pour out, I want someone to lay hands on me, you can stay. And those pastors who are nearby, we can't ask you to come. Receiving Jesus. Don't go without receiving Jesus. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have an everlasting life. You came today and you don't have Jesus in your heart. You want to become a child of God. I'm inviting you to come to my right here, to come to my right. Raise your hand if you want to receive Jesus. Raise your hand if you want to receive Jesus. I see some hands here. Raise your hand if you want to receive Jesus.
Now, 3 things that I want to address. First of all, the approach that was used by Dr. Lavin. The approach was totally wrong, and she disrespected her leader. I'm making this comment from a perspective of being someone who was part of ZAOGA for 17 years and being someone who worked with top leadership of ZAOGA for over 6 years. I think maybe 6-7 years. So I'm talking from a point of knowledge, right? So I want to be as objective as I can. What she did was wrong, and what people are saying about this act, they are justifiably so. Mainly because Dr. Lavin and Nyashaguti, Nyashaguti is actually older than Dr. Lavin in terms of age. And number 2, in terms of authority, Nyashaguti and Dr. Lavin is junior in terms of authority. She is the wife of the former Deputy Secretary General, one of the 3 apostles that were appointed after the death of Baba Guti. But in terms of the authority that has been bestowed upon Dr. Joe Guti now, she is junior, and she has no right to do what she did. And that deserved one, it's either a public apology and conversation of some sort. But let me dive into the second point. The second point is what she did then points out to, it feeds into the narrative of what people are talking about, to say they are trying to push Dr. Joe and his wife out so that they can take over. This is the narrative that is going on. I'm not the one who's creating it. People in ZAOGA are talking about this, and they come to me with a lot of information. Like, my ears are almost clogging because of that. But because I'm an information bearer, I have to bring it here. So now, it feeds into that narrative, and it feeds also in this way that maitiro akaitwa zvinhu anoita sekuti pane kutaurika kutoripo behind the scenes kune kakushora the leader kuti no muri kukanganisa zvakati, hamusi kugona zvakati, maybe you are weak or you are doing this, you are not doing things the right way, so we are going to teach you how things are done, or we are at a better position to do things. So it talks of kunyeya kuri kuitwa mai nyashaguti in behind the closed doors, and now it's manifesting in public. Then the last thing that I want to address is, this thing happened about 2 weeks back on the 21st of November. Now that it has happened, almost close to 3 weeks now, and there is no public apology or public address to say this was the intention, this is what has happened. Maybe after this video has trended, people are going to sit down in their office and say, okay, we need to curtail this before the damage goes out. The fact that there is no public apology then becomes telling. Okay, I'm starting my issue in public apology. Are you saying this was right? Kuti mai vechurch vatreatwe so in front of the congregation, and now that this thing is going out to to all of the people in the world to see. And then the other thing is, even though a public apology would be necessary, but why is the video still up on platforms such that people can access it? You know? But also in the same vein, this should call for a public apology to say, look, what happened was a mistake and this was the intention. Because from the look of things in the video, zviri kuita sekuti, if Dr. Joe was the one who was preaching, and maybe Pastor Manyati was the one who was, maybe Pastor Manyati, a junior person inside the church, was preaching, and Dr. Joe is one who is in front there. And he has been given an opportunity to then talk to the believers and talk to them, okay, trudai. Now, and then Dr. Joe comes and says, but now Gamchira Jesu, and overrides the junior. There was no problem. But because in this scenario, my Joe Guti is senior to Laven, and in this case, what is then happening is, it denigrates her authority. But if it was the other way around, she's the one who is a senior, and then she says, vasati vagamuchira Jesu, musaende musina kunamatirwa, musaende musina kuita the prayer of salvation, it was going to be fine because she's senior. But the fact that she is senior and then she gets that kind of treatment raises a lot of questions. But I want you to tell me, after watching this video, what do you make? The story is up on ZimEye, the story is up on other media platforms, so it's not a story that people are taking, lightly. And I think ZAOGA needs to, maybe my bishop day to day, mofana kuta action, muone kuti nyaya address. Otherwise, it will play in your face very soon, and it will portray the church in bad image. I have tried to get inside the shoes of ZAOGA, and this is a point of view that is from outside, from a person who is outside the church. That try kupinda mubhutsu dzevana vemuchechi ndichinyatsokudedemurai zvakamira sei. But ndoda kunzwa kwamuri, what do you make of this act, and do you think it warrants an apology from Dr. Laverne, or an apology to the rest of the church, or an address to say this was the intention and this is what happened? I would love to hear your thoughts.